As the US-Iran ceasefire takes shape, is Benjamin Netanyahu quietly using the pause to go after Iran's most powerful proxy in Lebanon, even while talking the language of truce? When explosions rip through Beirut and a top aide to Hezbollah's leader is killed, is Israel signaling that no part of Lebanon's capital is really off-limits anymore? And after the Beirut strike, when Netanyahu vows to hit Hezbollah wherever required, is he telling Tehran that the Lebanon front won't be wrapped into any Iran ceasefire? As IDF units dig up tunnels, RPGs, and grenade-filled shafts in southern Lebanon, are they trying to show the world why they say a pullback now would be a gift to Hezbollah? With Lebanon's death toll topping 1,700 and Israel claiming its April 8 strikes hit hundreds of fighters, is the cost of this shadow war with Iran's proxy already spinning out of control? And as Hezbollah answers with 30 rockets at northern Israel, sirens wailing in Kiryat Shmona, does it look like either side is really preparing for a calm border anytime soon? While the US-Iran ceasefire stands on shaky ground, the Lebanon front is flaring again, with Israel stepping up strikes on Hezbollah positions instead of easing off. On April 9, the IDF said it had killed a close aide to Hezbollah chief Naim Qassem in a pinpoint airstrike in Beirut. The target was named as Ali Yusuf Harshi, Qassem's secretary and nephew, hit in the Tallet Kayot district of the capital. The airstrike partially collapsed a multi-story building just outside Hezbollah's Dahia stronghold, sending shockwaves through central Beirut. The IDF said Harshi played a central role in managing Qassem's office and security network, presenting him as more than just a personal assistant. Israel's prime minister hailed Harshi's killing as a major blow and vowed to keep hitting Hezbollah wherever necessary, from Beirut to the border hills. Overnight, Israeli jets also struck two central crossings over the Litani River, which the army says were key routes for moving weapons into southern Lebanon. Netanyahu said, and I quote, "We continue to strike Hezbollah with force, precision, and determination. In Beirut, we eliminated Ali Yusuf Harshi, the personal secretary of Hezbollah terror organization Secretary General Naim Qassem and one of the people closest to him." At the same time, overnight, the IDF struck a series of terror infrastructures in southern Lebanon. Crossings used to transfer thousands of weapons, rockets, and launchers, as well as weapons depots, launchers, and Hezbollah headquarters. Our message is clear: whoever acts against Israeli civilians will be struck. We will continue to strike Hezbollah wherever required, until we restore full security to the residents of the north. Unquote. On the ground, Israel's 401st Armored Brigade reports finding an underground shaft in the south stuffed with rockets, RPGs, grenades, and improvised bombs. Airstrikes also hit a building where the 215th Artillery Regiment says it had identified at least 2 Hezbollah operatives moving in and out. Lebanon's health ministry says more than 1,700 people have been killed and almost 6,000 wounded since fighting escalated on March 2. Israel, for its part, claims its large wave of April 8 strikes went after hundreds of Hezbollah fighters, weapons depots, and command sites across the country. In retaliation, Hezbollah fired around 30 rockets at northern Israel on April 9, according to the IDF. Air raid sirens sounded in Kiryat Shmona and nearby Galilee communities, with most rockets reportedly falling in open areas but keeping residents in shelters. The latest assault marked Hezbollah's first major strike since the US publicly announced a 2-week truce with Iran, technically outside the direct scope of the ceasefire. Hezbollah said the rocket specifically targeted the Manara settlement in northern Israel, describing it as a reprisal against what it called recent Israeli violations. The group stated it was retaliating to what it described as Israeli violations of the broader understanding between Iran and the US, even though the deal was not meant to cover Lebanon. Hezbollah accused Israel of launching around 100 strikes on Lebanon within a 10-minute window on April 8, calling the intensity disproportionate and indiscriminate. In its statement, Hezbollah warned that its response would continue as long as it perceives Israeli U.S. aggression against Lebanon and its population to persist. Israeli media reported that at least one rocket fired from Lebanon was intercepted by Israeli air defense systems, reducing the immediate impact of the barrage. Meanwhile, strikes across Lebanon have reportedly killed over 110 civilians and wounded more than 800 others, according to Lebanese health ministry sources. On April 9, Lebanon's cabinet ordered that weapons in Beirut are to be reserved for state institutions only, at least on paper. The army and security forces were instructed to monopolize weapons in the capital, asserting that only official units should be armed there. The decision came just a day after Israeli strikes hit multiple parts of Lebanon, including central Beirut neighborhoods. Beirut had formally banned Hezbollah's military activity in the city at the start of the March escalation, at least in government decrees. In reality, Hezbollah has continued operating from and around the capital, keeping both Beirut and the south squarely in the line of fire. Fighting in Lebanon continues despite a 2-week US-Iran ceasefire announced on Tuesday, April 7th. Iran and Pakistan argue that the truce should extend to Lebanon as well, but Washington and Israel insist it does not cover Hezbollah's front. Iranian news outlets said the Strait of Hormuz was shut again, framing the move as a direct reaction to what Tehran sees as continued Israeli military pressure. The confusion over whether the truce includes Lebanon or is limited to Iran-US strikes has sparked speculation that mediator Pakistan may have mishandled or miscommunicated the indirect talks.
I think the Iranians thought that the ceasefire included Lebanon, and it just didn't. We never made that promise. We never indicated that was going to be the case. What we said is that the ceasefire would be focused on Iran, and the ceasefire would be focused on America's allies, both Israel and the Gulf Arab states. Now, that said, the Israelis, as I understand it, again, I'm supposed to get a fuller report when I get on the plane, have actually offered to be, frankly, to check themselves a little bit in Lebanon because they want to make sure that our negotiation is successful.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.